All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell, and we're going to continue talking about some comedic spirituality and some comparisons that I want you to realize. And anyway, um, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right, jump right in. Okay, so the Adam and Eve story, let's go there. Adam and Eve story. So we know that yesterday we were talking about the creation and the fact that there were two creation stories in the Bible, one for humans and one for non-humans. All right, and hue just meaning color, not meaning that you hate anybody or that they're different or anything like that. Okay, now the Adam and Eve story is remember the Adam and Eve story. What was it? It was basically Adam received the fruit or the apple, whatever you want to call it, from Eve, and I guess that started sin and it corrupted the entire human race. And because you had to decide whether you were going to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil or from the tree of life. Okay. Well, I'm here to tell you that you want to eat from both trees. You don't want to eat from just one. You want to eat from, look, and the reason why the Most High put the trees here is because He wanted you to eat from them. And remember the story. It's like, oh, you have all this stuff in the garden, but I just ask you to do me a favor and not eat from this one tree, so you won't have the knowledge of good and evil. But you automatically have the knowledge of good and evil, even from birth. Okay, so that this story is untrue. It's not true. All right. And why would you not want to have knowledge? Because and this is the thing, the aristocracy, the people that were in power, did not want you to have knowledge. They wanted you to be dumbed down, and that's why I make so many videos and talk about the ways that you're dumbed down, and especially through religion. Okay, and the second part of this, I'm trying to get this out because sometimes I can't contain myself because some of this stuff is so ignorant, right? But it's like the reason why all of this was done. So here's the reason behind the whole Adam and Eve thing. It was because men wanted to take control. Remember, the first slaves, the first people that were indentured servants, the first people that were in servitude to other people were women were in servitude to men. And I know y'all get mad, and I know I post this all the time, but y'all get mad at me when I post, especially all of the so-called woke men, or the Hebrews or Christians or whatever. Everybody gets mad at me, especially Muslims, whatever. They get mad at me when I say the woman is God. All right, the black woman is God. Not even the woman. The black woman is God because she is the only one who what? And y'all done read this stuff. Y'all know she's the only one that has the Eve gene. And in fact, I posted on my Facebook timeline in my story today a picture of a woman sitting there, a mother, and she's got all these different colored children, right? All the different colors of children, the human children, right? She's got all these different children. And the reason why that is because she has that Eve gene. So every race can come from the black woman. But unfortunately, every race cannot come from other women. Okay, because she has this Eve gene. All right. And here's the thing. So they wanted to take away the ability for women to be in control because women were actually in control. And so that's part of it. The woman is God. Okay, we'll take color out of it, but the woman is God. Okay, because what does she do? Even the earth, what do they call it? They call it Mother Earth. Why do they call it Mother Earth? Why do they call it Mother Earth? Because Ra, shines down on the earth. The sun shines down on the earth, and everything that we need, everything that's provision for us, is there on the earth. All of the trees, the plants, the animals, everything that we need in order to sustain life comes from the earth. Even us, we can't. And in fact, what do they tell us? Even now, they did get that right. One thing, you go from the ground you came, and from the ground you will return. True. It's not is the scientific steps aren't all accounted for, in my explanation right now, but that's a truism. It's a truism. Everything comes from the earth, and unless it falls from the sky, and if it falls from the sky like a meteor or something like that, or rain, but rain comes from the earth first, and then returns back to the earth. That's all it is. All right. So the Adam and Eve story was to create a patriarchal society. That's all it was about. It's about creating a patriarchal society where men are in control and men dominate everything. And that's what it was about. And then the other thing, and then from that point, the dumbing down not only of women, but of people who were of less socioeconomic means than other people. So if you were poor, as a matter of fact, what I used to say, even when I used to preach the gospel, and I would tell people that most people, during biblical times, during the time that the Bible was written, most people in the Bible, I'm sorry, not in the Bible, but most people never read the Bible. They were just told by the priest or by the priest, like what it said. And unfortunately, black folks do that today. Y'all go to church, y'all listen to the pastor say something, y'all just agree with what he says, and whoever don't agree with him, then y'all ostracize him because nobody thinks for themselves. So the whole thing about this is become a free thinker. Think for yourself. Think outside the box. Don't think in the box, and don't think everything, because it's detrimental to your existence. And what I mean by that, it's like, okay, so if you take everything in the Bible, it's like some people take everything in the Bible for face value, but it's not true. And like I said, they wanted to create a patriarchal society. They wanted to create a society where men were in control and where women were slaves. Because even and then all of a sudden, even if you go through the earlier parts, the accounts in the Torah, as you start going through the Torah, you start to see that women aren't even really mentioned in the Bible. They're mentioned here and there, and there's a few women mentioned in the Bible, but most of the time, in most of the stories in the Bible, women aren't even mentioned. Or they'll say, oh, he had a wife, or and the only time a woman is mentioned is if she has like a real big part in the story or whatever like that, and cause something like that. But when you think about it, women are nurturing. They are nurturing by what? By nectar. What we were talking about, by their nature. Their very nature would be the nature of a goddess. Their very nature. And it's not until lately that women come around. But yeah, you got all of this stuff. The bottom line is that women are natural nurturers. Their nature, their netter is to nurture, is to create. All right, is to give birth and to take care of that baby and whatever. And it's natural. Nobody has to, just like, and people always talk about, when you come out of the womb, it's like, nobody got to tell you to go to your mama. You go straight to your mama. And the baby, if you ever, I got a lot of babies. I got a lot of children. And so, but I tell you this, as soon as a baby is born, it goes straight to his mama. It don't think nothing about, and when daddy is sitting there holding and this, that, and the other thing, think about it. The baby goes, and the fact that the woman gives breast milk, all of that, the whole thing about lactation and everything, the woman was created to nurture. All right, so don't get the game twisted. And then the whole thing about sin. So now I want to go into this whole thing. So all of a sudden, the woman, notice that everything is the woman's fault. I used to always quote the one where they say, well, where God asked Adam, well, what happened? Why'd you do what I told you not to do? He said, it was that woman you gave me. Everything was cool till that woman came around. That's kind of how it went down. And so they were trying to get women out of the way because people recognize. As a matter of fact, and it's funny because stuff happens. Like we always say, like if, as soon as the student shows up, the teacher will appear, or as soon as the teacher shows up, the student will appear, right? And so I was actually reading through a post, and I can't pronounce the word, so I'm not going to sit here and try to pronounce the word. But what it is it was that back before modern times, women could actually impregnate themselves, which is the story um, of Osset, because Osset impregnated herself so that she could give birth to Heru. All right, which is the same. So when you go back, people say, "Oh, this thing," but if there is such thing as God, and realize that this is stuff is netter. It's about your nature. So the thing that's in the woman's nature is not the same thing that's in a man's nature. All right. So and that's why we're different. That's why there is a universal law of what, and I've been like trying to tell people there's a universal law of gender. So that's not why. In fact, let me just go this way. Me and my son were riding, and I was talking to him. I was telling him, I said, and I was talking about the universal law of gender, and we were talking about different things. But that's why that homosexuality is against the Most High. It's against your netter. Why? Because it doesn't produce life. See, forgiveness produces life. Things that produce life, they come from the Most High, right? Things that do not produce life do not come from the Most High. So people can get mad all they want, but it's a universal law. It's the law of nature. Even plants, y'all marijuana smokers, all y'all that smoke weed, guess what? Marijuana plants have gender. If you don't have a male and a female plant, you can't get weed. So I'm just trying to tell you, you have to have, the gender is necessary. Even if two men want to have a baby, they got to go get a woman. If two women want to have a baby, they got to go get a man. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. And it's not. I don't hate nobody. I love all of y'all, and you can do whatever you want. Because what? Even the Most High, Aman Ra, gives you free will to do whatever you want to do. But here's the thing: know thyself. You gotta know who you are. Know thyself, and that is what the Genesis story, it sets out to make you not understand who you are. Because why would you not want to have, why would you want to have life but not have knowledge? Because having life without knowledge is horrible. Like if you didn't know how to, like if you just put you here and didn't tell you anything and you don't know nothing, all right, how are you going to survive? You need knowledge, and then you need wisdom, because the foundation of wisdom is knowledge. You can't learn it. If you don't learn something, then how can you use it to help better your life? And as a matter of fact, that is life. I'll even go further. Wisdom and knowledge is life. Because why? Because if you don't know, then you're not going to be here long. You're not going to live long if you do stupid stuff all the time. Just like people look and say, why he do that? Because he wasn't smart. He didn't have knowledge. He didn't have wisdom. It's like, just like wisdom and knowledge tell you, if there's a 300-pound man, muscle-bound man, I'm not going to go up and smack him in the face and call him a name, right? Why? Because I'm smart enough to know that if I do that, then there's going to be consequences and repercussions from everything, right? And it's science. It's a spiritual science. It's saying, look, certain things I'm not going to do. Why am I not going to do it? Because of the fact of there is a consequence that I don't want. There is an unwanted consequence or an unwanted repercussion that's going to result from my action. And it goes back even to the universal laws of even physics, right? For every action, there's an equal or an opposite reaction. There is a law of gender. Yesterday, I was talking about the law of grace, right? Grace exists. Oh, how you know grace exists? Because if you do something, unless somebody else sees you and unless you get caught, the only thing that knows that you did something is the universe. Don't nobody else know. Right? Okay. I'm just trying to get. So when you start talking about you got to make a choice between knowledge and life, really? Why would you have to make a choice between knowledge and life? And why would a wife, a real wife, why would a wife do anything detrimental to her husband? See, that's so now we already starting into the bad stuff, right? Anyway, 15 minutes is up. I got to go. But hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My name is Judson Powell. I love you. Think it ain't illegal yet. George Clinton.